Let's go! Boom! Look at this scene. Blam! The giant chihuahua smashes the robotic arm. The robot is like, ugh. So, a take for the robot, designing the arm with amazing character design techniques and tricks that I'm going to share with you. And then the leg of the dude, more rig animation. So let's get started. Where should I start? I want to start with the arm. So I'm going to design the arm. So I have a new layer here and I'm going to call arm. And these, I might do it traditionally, but before committing into a clean line, I am going to do some drawovers. And here, first of all, I'm going to fix what I did on my animatic. Because on the animatic, for example, here this part is super big and I want this part to feel like it's going away in the distance. And here I am creating this tapering shape where this part is thicker than this one, so it looks more dynamic and more appeal. Here I can even open this part of the arm more. So I'm looking at all of those opportunities that I can push my design so I can have like really cool, I was going to swear, but a really cool design for this. Look at that. So yeah, poop, I can move this something like there, and I'm tracing on top of this animatic because I really love this. Wait, I really like this design that I came up with while doing animatic, so why not just tracing on top of this? So poop, and here we have the index, something like this, Tuki. Look at how I'm tapering towards this side, always tapering towards one side to create dynamic shapes. Poop, 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 poop. But Henry, the Simpsons, they are like very symmetrical. Yeah, sometimes in some shows, we have like more like more symmetrical shapes, like in the Simpsons and Rick and Morty. They use a lot of symmetrical shapes too. But for Henry 90's style of animation that he loved is a lot about tapering and stuff. Yes, save that. Okay, there you go. So that's the hand. Now I can get rid of the animatic for a little bit. What I like to do on my animatics is select the animation on and stuff here and then create a peg. What the heck happened here? Create a peg here, and that peg of the animatic I'm going to animate or just put it here in the corner. So if I want the animatic to cover the entire screen, I can just disable the peg and they will go back to the original position. But for now, I need it there because now I need to do some changes. So for example, I copy the design from the animatic here to this canvas. But there are some stuff that need to be changed because here's the grid, here's the ground. So I need to make this arm to feel grounded there on the ground. So doing some changes here, and it might need to rotate this a little bit. Oopsie, oopsie. So tuki. Rotate that. Yeah, something like that will work good. So I'm seeing that all of this is on the ground. See? All of this is on the ground. Tuki. Then I can get rid of this stuff here. Bam, 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 bam. Now I need a thumb. So the thumb could be something like this. It's like, if we keep it score, we acquire voice at best, intrusive and arrogant. If you want to follow this video with the music that I'm listening to, Taking Back Sunday, Liar. Amazing song. Tuki. There you go. So that will be this. It's like, and then these are arm. The rest is cool. Maybe I can bring some three-dimensionality here just by adding that corner there and drawing these fingers like this. It will feel like these fingers are inside of a 3D volume. So here this will be the base, this will be the base, and oopsie, no, this will be the base, this will be the base, and this will be the base. So when I get rid of this one, all the base of the fingers are aligned. I don't like it. Let's keep it flat. Yeah, let's keep it like that. And then these, something like this, to keep. Awesome. Trying to decide this before doing the cleanup for this stuff. And also we're having this pool, this thing full of oil or the blood of the air fryer. Cool. Awesome. There you go. I like this. It's nice. It's chill. Now I want to extend this layer around here to key. And now I received a comment from someone cool that told me like, bro, would like to for you to share if possible all of the tools and features that I use in Toon Boom Harmony. So I'm going to make a pause in this video to talk about that kind of stuff. And the way that I approach working in Toon Boom is I have a hybrid approach. I hope that's a way of spelling that thing. And I use a hybrid approach in which I do rig animation plus traditional animation. So this is my Toon Boom. As you can see, this is the interface of my Toon Boom. And one of the most important things for me is the way that I organize the interface for me to help me to be a support for when I do my crazy stuff. So on the left, I always put my drawing tools. So all the drawing tools on the left. Here on the top, I know that every time that I need to flip my canvas, I can find it in the menu up here. And when I need my rigging tools will be here. So this is to flip canvas. So it's like you see a lot of stuff here, right? Ah, okay, you cannot see it here. Looks. You see a lot of stuff here, right? Like a lot of bottoms and stuff here. To be super honest with you, the only tools that I use here is the flip, the lighting, and these trespassing. I will show you. I'll show you. So first of all, the mirror tool here, it helps me to flip the image. So this is something very important. It's like when you're doing live drawing and you are drawing like a pose for 1 hour, you have to stand up, take a break for a little bit, and when you come back, it's like, oh shoot, I didn't saw all of those errors. So the same thing happens when we flip the canvas. We're able to see and just find out the new mistakes that we haven't seen before, or just ways of improving our drawings. And the other thing that I use here is the onion skin and light table transferring blah blah blah. Onion skin opacity, this alters the onion skin. Light table opacity, this alters, I have no idea what. Light table wash, I don't have idea what. But here, bitmap background wash, this is something that I use a lot when I have a lot of stuff in the backgrounds, rigs, background designs, props, and all that kind of stuff, and I want to do a draw over on top. I use this bitmap background wash to decrease the opacity of all the elements that I have behind, just to focus on this draw over layer. So when I do draw overs, which I do a lot, I use this in order to allow myself to have a more comfortable workflow for my eyes. Now this tool is really amazing. This tool over here is when I do cleanup. When I do cleanup, and for example here I am in the line art. I am in the line art here. Let's do this. I'm in the line art right now. When I go to color art and I press, well, here when I hear the line art and I press K, you see all of these blue lines that appears around these pencil texture. That is like the properties of the line, or at least that's the way that I like to call it to simplify my understanding of this stuff. So see how it reveals a blue line around the black line. And when I go to the color art and I press K, I cannot see that stuff, even if I'm pressing K to reveal that stuff. But when I press this tool here and I press K, now it's like if I'm transferring these line art properties into the color art. So when I have to color this, I can color here, all of this, I can color this, look at that, without having to color here on the line art, and then selecting this and putting this in the color art. Like all of that copy and paste stuff, waste of time. So line art, drawing the line art with my line color, then I go here, press K, and then click here, and that will transfer all the line properties into the color art. So your cleanup and color is really fast. So here, the only tools that I use, the mirror, this light here, and this other thing to transfer the line properties. And of course, for rigging, these are the main tools that we're going to use, especially this one over here. Every time that I want to create a new rig, a new deformer for one specific piece of my character, I use this tool. I use this tool to create a deformation chain, so every drawing have a new deformation, and I'm not messing up with only one deformer for all the drawings. So those are the main things, and here the transformation tools I don't use too much. I just use it to visually see how far away or how closer to is from camera one of the drawings that I want to move further or backwards, which is this property over here. Of course, the tool properties. So the way that I have my interface is drawing tools, more drawing tools, but this is more for the visualization stuff. And here we have rigging shit, and here I have like the tool properties. On the right, I have tool properties, library, and drawing substitution. And why I like to have these three? Because when I'm drawing, okay, I can see the properties of everything here. On my library, when I want to import the stuff, I can import the stuff from here. And when I'm drawing, I want to see in which frame I'm drawing any specific drawing. For example, here, lips. So here I can see clearly which drawing exists here. So even if I'm doing traditional animation, this is very useful to have it here, a very huge preview of these icons. But also when I'm doing traditional animation and when I'm doing rig animation, I need to swap from one drawing to another. I can totally see here, for example, all the hand layers that I have for any specific character. So normally when I'm doing rig animation, I'm not drawing at the same time, I'm moving pieces. So when I'm moving pieces, I change from tools into drawing substitutions. And when I have to draw pieces, I go and change to tool properties. But when I'm rigging, I go here to drawing substitutions. So it's like, okay, cool. It's like I am doing traditional animation, I go here to tool properties. Sorry, I'm drawing, I go to tool properties. I am animating with rig animations, I go to drawing substitutions. Cool? And even in traditional animation too, but to be honest, I use this more for rig animation. And then, because I have this super simplified here at the top, tool properties, library, and drawing substitution, the other one have to contribute to what I have on top. So for example, if I'm drawing, I want to see which color I'm drawing, and I will not have the color here or here or here. So I want to see which color I'm drawing and which color palette I'm using. So Puki Tuki Tuki, I'm using these colors over here. Node view, I like to have it here on my right. I don't know, because I draw with my right, so it's easy to just select the stuff. And also because I draw with my right and I want to move stuff in the node view, if I put the node view on the left, I am in some way, if I'm using a screen tablet, I cannot see because I have my palm on top of the screen, so it's a little bit messy. It's a little bit messy, and I don't like to be modifying things here. I don't like to modify things here and look here. I like to modify things here and look in here. So very useful to have the node view here. Colors, onion skin. This is a lot for traditional animation. I use the advanced onion skin. I think that's the name of this stuff. Yeah, you just enable the onion skin and you'll have this. And there's two ways of using this, by frames or by drawings. Most of the times I immediately change this by drawings and I put here 1 and I can see the frame before and the frame after. Or I can just put 2 so I can see 1 frame before and 2 frames after. So it's very handful and very important to use, because later we're going to combine this with other tools like is shift and trace. So for example, I have here that I can see my frame before and my frame, for example, my frame after will be something like this. And here, for example, if I go here in the middle and I create a new frame here, Tuki, I can see the frame before and the frame after. So if I change this to by frames, I don't know why it doesn't work properly, so that's why I change it to by drawing, so it works really well, and I can have 1. Now, this is the magical, this is like fucking Gohan and Trunks working together in Dragon Ball. It's like, dude, you have the onion skin here, right? Now you combine that with the shift and trace. So you go here into these visualization drawing tools, and you click here, right click, and you enable shift and trace. And when you enable shift and trace, this tool is amazing, because you can grab, for example, the previous frame, press command or control and click on that, and you can move it. You can move that frame. So if you would like to keep in proportions a character head, for example, and you want to move the two heads closer to each other, like one head is doing this and the other head is doing that, and then you can just grab both, put them together, and then you can totally in between in the middle here, tracking everything with proper proportions. So learning to use the shift and trace is very useful. And now, for example, okay, cool. Now I have my in between here. I want everything to go to its normal position. If I press play here, look at how this saved that position that I changed with my shift and trace. So now, in order to avoid that, I will click here in this white shit that I don't know what the heck is that. Oh, yeah, it's the paper. So if I click here, boop, it will return into its normal position. Look at that. Beautiful. So I have my in-between here at that pose, at this point, I wanted to create my in-between. So what I did is click on this black arrow, drag my stuff there, rotate this thing in there, Pookie, this, poop, rotate, and there you go. And then once I add or draw in between the place that I want to by helping myself moving these onion skin drawings, now I can release this with this bottom. As you can see, I'm only using the black arrow and the white thing here. So that makes the stuff really fast to work with. Cool. Hope that helps, and I will just continue showing more stuff as I move forward in this scene, because otherwise I will never finish. So there you go. Onion skin and the camera and the top, which to be honest I don't know why I have a camera here, and the top is when I'm doing crazy camera stuff, but I don't normally use that shit. So here, this is the This is a timeline view. I only enable two things here, the timeline view and the playback and the mark drawing. Let me get rid of all of this for a second to show you one of what it's all about. If we start here, the timeline looks something like this. And if you enable timeline view, you have this stuff here, which is create a new drawing or duplicate drawing. For me, create new drawing, I press H, so that's my shortcut, so I don't have to click here every time that I need a new drawing. When I need to duplicate a drawing, yes, I press here, because I don't know, I don't have a shortcut for that. And for example, if I want to create a new drawing here and I want to hold this for more frames, I can click here and it's like I just cut the same exposure without creating a new drawing. So it's very useful for traditional animation. And when we're working with pegs, with bricks, I can either use any of these three. For example, if I have this arm and I have a peg on top of this stuff, if I click here and if I have a new drawing for each one of this, look, if I click here and this is closed, if I click here, look, that is moving my peg with my drawing. That is moving my peg with my drawing. But if I click here, if I move my peg, that will move only the peg and that will leave my drawing exactly where it's supposed to be. And here, if I click here and I close this and I move this, that will move only the mouth without moving the keyframe. So this is very useful when I'm doing lip sync with characters. I can change the lip sync of the characters by having all the master control of the character closed and just messing out with this one over here. So it's very useful, but again, it's more useful to see how this works in real time. That's why I'm sharing all of the things that I'm doing, all the behind the scenes. That's why I'm sharing everything that I do for you to show you how to use these tools in the actual practice in a real scenario. Playback, really playback. And the mark drawing, that's something that I also use to mark my keys, for example, and my breakdowns. So for example, if I create new drawings here, this is another way of playing real badass with these tools. If I click here on keys, when I flip, wait. Ah, no. Sorry. Okay. I need to enable another thing. Flip. When I click and I mark this with keys, and I enable this tool that is flip, and I press key and keys, and I flip, which I have my keyboard shortcuts to be A and D, this will flip only between my keys. And if I want to add my breakdowns, I click here, and now it will flip between my keys and breakdowns. If I only want to flip between my breakdowns, for example, I want another breakdown here, and I will click here, breakdown, and I flip between my breakdowns. Look at that. I'm flipping only between my breakdowns. Now I want to add the keys. Now I'm flipping between keys and breakdowns, but I'm skipping this in between over here. I want to flip with in betweens. Now it's flipping with in betweens. Cool. So this is how I also use this stuff. And if I have more drawings here, for example, I have this shit here, and I want to see by frames only the onion skin of the key poses, I can do that. I think so. By drawing, sorry, and see, for example, now I can see the onion skins. I can see the onion skin of the, even though I'm like 2 frames behind this thing here, if I put here keys, I can see that key. I don't know why it's not working on the previous one, but I don't really use it too much. But it's very useful to flip instead of using the onion skin, so that's why I enable these 2 tools when I'm doing traditional animation. So hope that helps, and let's start animating. I'm going to show you how to use these tools now that I explained a little bit in depth how to use them. I'm going to now show it to you how I use it in real time, because I'm going to do a cleanup for this arm and I'm going to do many cool stuff. So hang around the video and look at how I do this shit. Let's go. Hope that helped. And thanks for your question. And if anyone else have any questions, feel free to ask. Taka, boom. Cool. So before cleaning that arm, I will leave the arm in peace over there for a second. Now I'm going to use, no, you know what, it will be nice if I show you the tools right now. Yeah. So here I'm going to create a new layer, clean arm. So I'm going to create a new layer called clean arm, and then on this clean arm I'm going to create a new peg, and then what the fuck, peg there, connect with the same one. Cool. And then I'm going to clean up that arm. So I'm going to show you new tools here. For example, I have my marker number and my solid brush. This is the one that I use for cleanup. And then I'm trying to increase the opacity so I have a line thickness that matches the character that I'm working. So I'm eyeballing that line thickness because I don't want to spend too much time there. I'm going to put a 65. And then I'm clicking here and I'm going inside of a smoothing and I'm increasing this because right now I'm working with my iPad. I'm not working with my Cintiq, and with my iPad I have some little stuff that some weird stuff that happens when I'm freehanding all of these lines. So I increase the smoothness, but if you have a good control on your line, you don't actually need it. So there you go. I'm cleaning here this stuff, Tuki, Tuki, and I remember that I have to press this harder to have the line thickness that I actually want. So harder, 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 Tuki, 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 and then I hold T, and now I am showing which tools from this I am using. When I hold T, I am enabling the cutter tool, which is over here, the cutter. So instead of going here and changing these tools, let me show you here. Instead of going here and changing these tools from here to here, I have shortcuts. So when I press B, I go to the brush tool. Look at that. And when I press hold E, I go to the eraser. So I could polish my line here and make it look whatever I like. I want it to look. Here I go B, and I go to my brush tool again. And here, something like that. Something like that. Then I hold T and I change to the cutter. And then I release T and I'm back with my brush. So I'm trying to feel like I'm playing Call of Duty while I'm working with these tools, because I need to be fast. And there are two reasons why to be fast. If you're working for a studio, you'll become, of course, more efficient, and they will give you more scenes. And if they give you more scenes, you will get paid more. Hopefully. And if you're working for clients, you same thing. You can deliver faster and you can see that money faster in your pocket. And that is how you will feel inspired to keep working and animating for other people. Those are the two advantages. And if you're doing this for yourself, do it so you can create as many films as possible in this lifetime. Look at that beautiful cleanup there. Boom. Then I hear a straight, and something that I'm always remembering is that I always use three type of lines, CSI. And here, for example, I'm going to try to make one line with my shoulder like this. Tuki. And I'm super chill doing this until it happens. There you go. There you go. I like that. And then poop, tapering that one over there. And then I want to go around to create a feeling of three-dimensionality on that line. Tuki, Tuki. And then I can move this stuff around. Beautiful. And then I can just use my eraser, hold E, because when I press T, it gets rid of my entire line. And I'm very carefully trying to clean that stuff. Boom. Here I can either press, oopsie. Here I can go here to this white arrow, and I can clean these lines like a little bit like this. Cool. So we have a lot of control over the tools that we're using here in Toon Boom. Now it makes everything feels more easy to work on. Like, this is something that I mentioned a lot to the people I help with, is that don't believe anything that you hear outside, and create your own system of beliefs by your own. If you hear somewhere like, ooh, using Toon Boom is super hard, it's an advanced tool for professionals, I will never be able to, bullshit. Don't believe anything of that bullshit, dude. Make your own statements. Like, if I were to give a review of how easy is this software, super fucking easy. You just have to put time to learn to use it. So of course, and the main advice that I have here is that don't believe anything that you hear outside. Don't even believe myself. Don't even believe me. It's like, take this, found out all of this for you, and you will get to know yourself better by doing all of this stuff. So I'm going to create another layer here, and I'm going to call it charco, because I have no idea how to call it in English. And charco in Spanish is like a little, it's a pound. I think it's a pound. I'll keep it as charco. So here I'm going to start drawing this charco. Yeah, there you go, works. Who is calling me? It's my friend JC, but I cannot answer to JC because I am working, so I'll call him back in a sec. Nah. I don't like this one over here. And also, I highly recommend to everyone to start using professional tools if they want to become professional animators. Not only for Not only for finish your idea, Henry. Wait. I need to design this stuff. So yeah, get professional tools. Get professional tools because that will help you a lot with the confidence of charging badass prices. So get professional tools. That will also give you a confidence that you will be able to deliver high quality products at the end of of a process. Henry, but it's so expensive. Well, well, what else can I tell you? Let's go. Let's go here. Air fryer. Okay, so I'm going to grab the 3/4 view because that's the only one that I need here. 3/4 view, paste it here. Oopsies. It's blocking. And look, and we're getting closer to when this air fryer transforms into a super evil air fryer. Hey, I want the 3/4 to. Come on. What the heck is happening with you? Oh, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. Dude, they're asking me the question. Look, because I have selected this part here, I was copying and pasting only drawings or only markers here, but I was not copying and pasting the frames. So, in order to copy the frames and the keyframes, I have to select this. And when I select that, I can copy this and copy paste it here. Tuki, tuki. And then I flip this, there you go. And now we're going in that side. I have to also flip this because it's flipped because I flipped, and I have to flip it to inverse the flip that I flipped because I flipped. So I had to flip to invert the flipped. Cool. Now I don't need these arms, but before getting rid of these arms, I just get rid of the arms. So Tuki, get rid of the arms. There you go. Now I'm going to animate the body. No, before animating the body, let me add here another stuff, which is going to be the armhole. So armhole, Tuki, armhole, Tuki, a peg, and now we'll connect this with this. Awesome. And then I'm going to create a circular shape, color, and then I'm going here, select the rig. When I'm selecting the rig, I can color pick this so I can I can go faster to my color palette. I go back to the color, I go back to node view to select my layer. And here I can select the circle, a circular shape. I can increase the line thickness here on to like 13, something like that. Yes. And then I am going to design the inner part of the arms inside of this dude. Copy and paste, move, lower the line of thickness into an 8, something like that. Now maybe less, something like this, Tuki. And then here I will use this line to create these lines to show some depth. And now I'm going to grab the darker color of this dude, and I'm going to put it here in the inside, and some light color here to put it around here to show the side part of the arms. I feel like the line thickness around of this is super huge. That's why I use the circle tool, so I can always change this instead of using the brush tool, so I cannot have control over the line thickness. For example, I want to reduce the line thickness of this one over here. First of all, let me get rid of these colors, and this is, for example, something I would practice that I would like to share to you. It's like, okay, I have the line art here. I'm going to reduce here. I have the line art here, and if I press K, look, I see the properties of these lines. And now if I go here to color art and I transfer the properties, now I'll see the properties of line, even of these colors here. But now I'm going to grab the colors, put it here, and I'm going to color pick these colors and paint it here. And as you can see, the advantage of doing this is that I am not seeing these gaps here between the lines, because the gap of this line here have the same width as the line art of the brush or the pencil that I use. But in this one, everything is closed. Everything is closed. When I transfer all of these line art and color art in After Effects for doing compositing, if I decide to do so, then I'll have more control, or things will not look weird if I start applying drop shadows or kind of that stuff. There you go. I have the arm there. Cool. So now I have to expand the exposure. So I click F5 here to expand the exposure. For me, it's Fn and F5 because Apple is weird. And then I do that stuff. Tuki. And then we go pook, this is my last frame, and this is my, so I need this frame here and this frame here, and then I don't need frame here. Cool. So let's start doing draw overs, and this is part of my workflow. So this is explaining the workflow. This is my workflow, and my workflow is like this. On my workflow, I'm using KFC colors. On my workflow, I have my blocking pass. I have my design pass, and I have my posing pass. It's like a blocking, but it's a posing. And then I have my animation pass. And then I have my animation pass blocking. And the blocking is really fast. I'm just moving the rig where it's supposed to be in a specific part of the timeline. On the timeline, for example, these have to be there, the other one have to be there. So it's kind of a blocking layout. So I'm doing my blocking, and then on top of that blocking, I start doing the design. Like for example, this character, I need it to be moving forward. So this is how this will look like. So we're getting there. Then I have my blocking, then I do my design. On top of the design, I do my final posing. And then after I have my poses very well polished and very cool, beautiful, I go and I start animating everything and twinning everything. And my animation process, I divide my animation process in two steps, into twinning and polish. Cool? So a lot to talk about and a lot to see. So let's have fun. I'm going to grab this purple color because I want to draw with that, and I use marker number 2 as my as thank. I totally forgot what I was going to say. So because at the same time that I was thinking what I wanted to say, I was also thinking of reusing this pose here. So you see how my brain works like crazy. So I'm going to grab this pose. I'm going to grab this pose, and this is part of the blocking, finding opportunities of reusing as many parts as possible. Now, for you, the two that asked me the questions about the features and stuff, this is another cool example of of how how to use these tools. For example, here, look at what happened when I copy this frame that is tilting here. Look at the horns of the character. Look at what happened when I copied that frame to the frame. It also changed my other frame, but I just wanted to copy this frame here. I don't want this to affect this other one. That's when, before copying that frame, I have to go here and select this tool here that is called Add Key Exposure. So what will happen there is that if I go inside of the horn here, look at how it created this wall here between this frame and this frame. It created a wall there. And if I want to change this frame over here, and if I copy and paste this frame over here, if I copy and paste this frame from here to here, when I go here, look, that will not change the horns, okay? So that's a huge thing. And of course, it's make the arms appear because I get rid of the other arms, but the horns or other stuff of the character will not change. Cool, hope that helps. So let's continue. So I'm going to copy this pose there. These arms, I don't need these arms on this scene because on this scene we are not having this transform robot, so I'm going to get rid of that one. And then I'm going to copy, oops, I don't want these horns neither, so I just go here inside of this and look at how this changed. So I can come here, click here and get rid of that exposure, so I will have the same horns from the previous frame. I'm getting rid of that wall. Tuki, there you go. I'm getting rid of that wall. Pumba. Awesome. So this leg here, I wanted to flip it that way. Hope I didn't screw up stuff too much. Flip this like this. Cool. So that's part of my super weird, my super rough blocking. I'm just trying to get really fast to these poses. I'm not even making any more sense because I need some of my brain to do this stuff. So I'll use it for a little bit. And this is just moving the stuff like this. Tuki, Tuki. Look at that. So I am in that way. I am reusing legs that already are like bending a little bit. I am reusing the mouth that I already moved in order for the posing to test the rig. So I'm reusing stuff, and this is part of the blocking, finding all of those opportunities of reusing as much stuff as possible. Cool. And see, I'm doing a super, super, super awful, awful blocking here because this is not going. This is not how my character will look like at the end. This is just a quick blocking to get to know my character, get to know what he likes. Cool. So I can drag that over there. So that's my frame. And over here, we have this normal frame here. Now, I want to also track the legs. So the legs for this character here. Okay. So I have to track the base of those legs with the base of the legs that I have here. So for that, I'm flipping and using the elements of my backgrounds of reference of how this will look like. And I'm flipping, always flipping, flipping. This leg also have to be a little bit over there. And this foot can look a little bit towards the front. Well, I'm going to polish all that kind of stuff later. Cool. Now, let me grab all of this stuff. Everything I have to remember how I rig this dude. Oh, I have a master pick for the face. That's nice. Toki, something like that. And this is just the blocking. I'm going to do some draw overs on top in a minute. Okay, cool. Unreal looks awful. Shut up. You will see, baby boo. You will see. The heck is this? Okay, cool. My rigs are like rigs for Henry to understand only. Cause yes, that occurs. Like I want to rig this as fast as possible for me. So yeah, a little bit tricky. There you go, Tuki. I don't want to spend more time here. It's looking awful, and then and now this is looking towards the arm. So all of these pieces of this head will rotate that way. That eye, I will open that eye a little bit more. And this mouth, I'm little opening all of this so I can move all of this towards the center a bit more. Oh. And I wanted to tilt this. I even want to tilt this, which looks like. So I'm going to move this a little bit up. 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 How long is this video? 39 minutes? It's super long. Tuki. And this. Tucson. And I can't even push these poses, super boring poses I have here, so. Yeah, tend to push that stuff. Cool. Let's get started with the draw over. So this pose over here, I want to push this pose. I want this line of action, like so. Let's go. Something like this. Oopa, I'm even making this even more organic. And here I can show this part over here, so it feels like it's looking down. It feels like it's looking down. It's like, ah! Numbers will be something like that. I don't like this to be too curvy. I need to move this up, so I can also push those panties up. And as a consequence, you can push this up too. Okay, so it's like, so here I can simplify these legs into something like this. Super kind of Powerpuff Girly. Now let's think about the box that exists around this character. Let's think about that box for a little bit. So here these lines will, yeah, all of this is working well, except these lines should be that way. That should be that way. Cool. So it feels like it's having a little bit of a twist, and I can lift this leg a little bit up. It's like cool. Beautiful. Then here we have the horns, which I can make it smaller to sell the feeling of perspective. Beautiful. And this arm will be something like stretched this way. Cool. Let's look at how this looks by getting rid of this a little bit. There you go. I like that. I like that. Now let's work on this one. So look, for example, my dude that asked the question of the stuff, the software. Tuki, boom. I create here a new frame. So when I create a new frame here, I don't take that one over there. Look at what happened if I were to create a new frame for this one that is tilting back. Boop, I'm going to get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. So instead, I click here first. I put a wall on this frame, and then I create a new one here. So here, the dude is tilting forward. The dude is tilting forward. What if this character is something like this instead? Mm, two reasons why one main reason why I'm not going to do this change, because if I do this, I will have to, yeah, Henry, now you have to transfer the weight towards this side so you can open this leg, and then after open that leg you have to show the weight shift on the other side, and then you have to settle into that one. So complicated my life in the stupidest way. So I'm going to just make the character bend the legs. I have this stuff that I'm doing already stuff in a limited way, in like in a limited animation, because this is type of super cartoony. If I'm already doing this type of animation, then I don't try to I don't try to mess up around with more complex stuff. Because then if I do something sophisticated on one scene, and I don't do it on another one, and that scene just looks really badass compared to the rest of the film, it will piss me off. It will piss me off. Maybe I want this to bend the other way. Cool. So we have the center line here, and then here I'm going to draw around like this. Maybe I can one line this part of the character. Look at that. And this one line in theory is something that I love to share always here in this type of characters, this line of band. Look at how we one line the body of this character all the way here towards the bottom of the feet, the chicken, the belly of this chicken all the way from here to here. So all the way finding ways of one line in the character that is something that helped me to preserve the flow of my pose. Oh, hello. There you go. We continue. I like that pose of the character. It's like from here, like boom, boom. Looks very organic. Looks very organic. I can even squash this pose like this. Boom. And it's like, it's like, could do something like that. Awesome. Horn, horn. Let's clean this up a little bit. New color, pinkish. And you know what? I can totally rig the character on top of this. Yeah. So I'm going to start rigging the character. I'm going to start posting the character on top of these drawovers that I did. Cool. Normally I speed up in this part of the videos because this is super boring. It's literally tracing on top of what I have here, and I'll show you a little bit, and then I will speed up because it's super boring. Cool. And then the plan is, once I pose these two and I make them very beautiful, I can reuse those poses throughout. You'll see. You will see. So here, where is the draw over? Where is the F draw over, Pookie? There you go. So, for example, super really quick preview of what I do here before I speeding up, and then I'm going to show you in real time how I animate all of this stuff. So I first block all of this stuff, and I work with these lines that I put on, that I move forward on top of the rig. And then I'm just grabbing each one of these pieces and start moving, squashing, making bigger, smaller, and then grabbing all the rig in the most non-destructive way as possible to get to those shapes. That's why I use draw overs, because if I were to do this only with my eyes moving part of the rig to get to something that I might like, I will waste too much time. And believe it or not, I like to see results. I like to see stuff coming up together. And with this character, if I just start moving the stuff randomly, after spending some time, I'll be like, what the heck is this piece of shit? So that's why I like to draw. So when I draw it, I make like this roadmap for me to follow at the moment of posing the rig. So I don't feel like I'm just lost, hoping that something will look good at the end of this posing period of time. Does it makes any sense? I hope so, because I'm doing my best here. Tuki and Tuki. So that's exactly what I do. I'm trying to design with my deformers. My deformers are my lines that are helping me to design this character, to design each one of these poses in a very beautiful way. Henry, what is all of this crazy stuff that is happening here? These are cutters that I put around so it doesn't mess up with the body of the rig. And normally I use these cutters here like to create masks, so I make sure everything is working properly. And I also put this type of deformers on these masks to design the pose. And I like to have as much control as possible on every single part of the rig, so I feel like I'm drawing with my deformers. I'm not just moving deformers like if these were like, I don't know, toys, lifeless toys, but the deformers are only like robotic lines that help me to represent what I have on my head into this canvas. It's like I know how to design characters, I know how to draw appealing characters, and I know how simple that job could be. Now it's like Toon Boom help me make that job as easy as possible. Help me to transfer all of those ideas into my animation. And then as you can see, I'm using all of these lines in a very simple way, only creating CSI lines with my deformers. Tuki. And if I see weird thing happening around, I can always fix stuff. And for example, if I lose any of these, if one of any of these visual pegs get lost, I can always flip towards the next frame, select it back here, and go back, and then move it here. Cool. So that's another cool thing. And I'm learning about my characters too at the moment that I progress in each scene. I never come up with the idea of inverting the eyes this way, making it look super cartoony, or moving the apex of the mouth towards that direction. And that's the funny thing about working in these projects, or not waiting for you to have like waiting for you to have the complete model sheet for your character with all the poses that you need, but instead just have the courage to, you know what, I'm going to start this project and I'm going to design poses, I'm going to create new stuff as I move forward, and instead of staying paralyzed by all the stuff that is needed in order to create a short film, because the animation pipeline is huge. But sometimes, at the same time, this is not about animation pipelines, this is not only about animation techniques, workflows, and pipelines. This is also about your own creative process, of creating your own films, creating your own music. Like imagine if someone tells you in order to create a song in the guitar, you have to use this chord progression, but you out of nowhere you were laying in your bed playing guitar and you come up with this chord progression from chords that you just invented, that you just, or maybe exist but they have no reason to coexist between each other, but you just make it feel connected. It's like, dude, those are the same things that happens to me in animation. It's like, even though there's a lot of stuff out there, I put a lot of time too into getting to know myself in my own workflow. You know what, this part of the workflow stress me, then I will avoid this but I will try different thing. Oh, I like this that I try. Oh, you know what, this part of the workflow, it's really boring for me. What can I do? How can I speed up stuff? So that's one of the main things. For example, in betweening takes a lot of time. So what I decided to approach, a very cartoony, snappy animation. Boom, solve. So maybe the thing that we're avoiding is not a specific part of the process itself, but the way we approach that specific step of the process. Like if in betweening is taking you a lot of time, maybe you can think about the animation style that you are using for your project. If posing the rig is taking you a lot of time, maybe next time that I'll be creating a character, I will simplify the character even more so I don't have to animate as much pieces. Or I'll found ways. So that's for example a solution. That's for example a solution in terms of character design in order to optimize your rigging. Or there's also another solutions like learning new ways of rigging on a specific part so it's more convenient for you, or simplifying and optimizing in a specific part of the rig so it's easy to move. So there's a lot of angles in which we can see stuff and bring problem solving solutions into the table. Into the table. The main thing that we have to do is take action. It's moving. It's doing stuff. 31. 31. And not overthinking about stuff. Not overthinking about stuff. Boom. And I'm trying to eyeball all of these shapes to make it look or feel clean. And then I'll move stuff. So yeah, this is just a little bit behind the scene of how I do my posing on Toon Boom Harmony with the rig, how I pose a rig in Toon Boom Harmony. As you can see, it's very straightforward. So I'm going to go fast in time to this step and hope some of the stuff that I share with you help you. I'm going to focus on this so we can also focus on animation on this video. And everything you get is everything that you want. You prefer a finger on the trigger or me face downtown across the floor. Me face downtown across the floor. And when you tell all your friends you got your gun to my head, it's only some wishful thinking. Hoping for the best is hoping nothing happens. Why can't I feel anything for anyone other than you? There you go. Pose ready. Next one. Cool. We have two poses. Looks very organic. Looks very cartoony. Doesn't feel stiff like the rig. Look at that. That's the rig. That's how we pose it. How we pose. How we push the rig. Got it? So doesn't mean like the rig is like this. We only move the rig around, but look at how much fluidity we can add to this rig. How much organic feeling we can have. Now my friend Jorge Castillo is calling. Dude, okay, I have to give two callbacks in a minute, but first let's finish this. Cool. Let's say like it's there now. How is it I animate in Toon Boom Harmony? First of all, I'm going to mark these two keys with a red marker. So mark frame, red, mark frame, mark frame red. And something that I also like to do to save these frames from any type of shit, it's like I add key exposure here and I add key exposure here in case that I'm changing any drawing in the middle. Cool. Now here tuku 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 tuku, this dude will slide from here to here. And then, poop, we do a take here. So I'm going to copy and paste this frame here. And I'm going to push this frame because this is going to be an overshoot. So as this is going to be an overshoot, I am going to push both of these eyes like that. So that one over here doesn't feel like the other one doesn't feel too. Move that eye a little bit. The other, just okay, cool. I'm pushing that one. I'm pushing that one. I can grab all of these deformers, for example. Click, 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 and then move up, just to make it all feel very squashy and stretchy. Here I can even move this up like that, pushing some of this stuff. So look at that. Boom, 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 boom. Now I am also tracking here the base, so this doesn't move on the overshoot. That's why I am flipping, flipping, flipping to have control over that. Here the mouth. I can also grab all of this mouth and overshoot that. Doon. Here this part also can go up. Can go up. And I'm going to show you how to desynchronize your animations, your rigs in Toon Boom. Now I'm grabbing all of this and move it up, up, up. Here, now I want to have some change. Like I want the heels to go up on that frame, but here I want the heels to go down. Cool, so we have boom, boom, cool. Now, as the heel is moving up, this part will be also influenced. So I'm catching all of those stuff here. So all the movement makes sense. Cool. Something that I totally forgot to pose is this highlight. So I'm just moving this highlight around until I get something closer to the previous frame. There you go. Something like that. Awesome. And now, let me move this like that. Now I can copy the lighting inside of this rig and paste it over here too. Tuk, 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 tuk. And here, in order to make it feel like it's moving, I can stretch it too. Awesome. There you go. That's it. So I am modifying all the stuff there, Puck. Here on this overshoot, I might squash this foot down. And then going up. Cool. Boom. There you go. So we have the character moving towards that side, which this will be out of the screen. Boom. And then here, we can put a slow out. A slow in, sorry, 77. And zoom. Maybe even stronger here. Like 88. Cool. And now here in the middle, I can grab all of these and do some little changes just to create some more dynamic motion overall. I can rotate this dude down, for example. And now I just have to grab these tools and fix this stuff around. Just to add more depth into the movement. Rotating some stuff. And because it's too fast, and I'll even add some motion blur on the compositing part, I will just do some little changes around. And don't put too much attention on each part of the character. This is the moment that I'm cutting corners to make stuff faster. And even having fun with the stuff, for example, the horns. Something like that. Cool, so if I twin all of this, we're having some movement there. And now you can even grab this and push this down. Boom, boom, cool. And I can increase here this into a 99. Get rid of the properties here. I don't want a slow out, a slow in the middle. Cool, then we have that animation, and then we go here towards the overshoot, and then here I can go down. I can squash here. Can squash here. Can squash this eye too. Can squash this eye because we're jumping. We're going to jump from this frame into the upper frame until all the way until the overshoot. So I'm going to grab this other eye. So from here, this is like an antic that we are doing before going all the way up. So antic here, antic, 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 and then boom, we jump there, we jump high, and now we need to slow in here. So we need to slow in here. So I'm going to use the same frame, exaggerate this frame, and then go down. So here I need to exaggerate this frame, which I can grab all of this. Going up. And maybe, yeah, this over here could totally be this frame here. So I'm going up there. Boom, boom, boom. And then here we're going down, slow out from here, slow into here. So we have this. Look at that. And now I need this to be faster, something like there. So this could be as 80, 80, 88, 44. And then we have this. Cool. And now something that I'm going to do is start breaking all of this onto twos. And I'm going to add some desynchronization on the motion by dragging some frames towards the left, and you will see. Towards the right, some. You will see. Cool. Cut all of that and mark as a frame just in case. Cut all of that. Now I'm going to select here the master pick for the face. And on the master pick of the face, I'm going to select all of this and drag all of this one frame. So this ends after the motion of the body. Of course, I can copy and paste this here. But I can keep squashing all of this so it drags. Look. See? So the body moves at one time and the facial features move in another time. And now here, the horns, maybe I can do the same. But instead of dragging one frame, I'll drag two. There you go. Cool. So here, for example, I want to drag this even more. So cutting frames there and adding that there. Boom. So all the character move in different, like every piece of the character move in different timing. and in that way make everything feel more alive. Here, for example, on this part, I can drag this part. I can drag that part. And then here, I can make it look go up until here, go up here. And then when it goes down, it will take more time. So this is the part that will end last. Look at that. Boom. Cool. So I will add a slow in and slow out here. 55, 66, and then we 88 here. Look at that. Might reduce this a little bit more, it's taking too long. Tuk 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 tuk. Maybe I want this to be faster. For example, if I want this to bounce, I can copy and paste that frame. So it's going like that. Tuku tuku, tuku tuku, tuku tuku. So I can add new properties here, like a slow in and slow out from here, and then slow in here. And then let me clean these lines here. Let's see how this looks like. Now these have to be faster. There you go. So here we are doing this poop, poop. Better. So I am cutting here, I'm deleting frames as I see I need to do so to let Toon Boom in between while I move my timing there. Boom, boom. Cool. And then when I commit to my timing, I cut everything onto Toon. Look at that. Boom, boom. See? Beautiful. Vroom, vroom, vroom. And then we have the leg of the dog that will smash that, and then the cleanup of the arm. But this video is already too long. Thinking what to do. Let's move faster then. Let's move faster. So I have the arm. Now I'm going to enable these arms again just to color pick the colors that I need to clean here. So this arm, I don't need this one anymore. This one here. I think I have the colors here, so look at that. My dude that asked for those questions. Finger, finger, palm, arm, 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 arm. Where's the arm? Arms, tuki, tuki, tuki. Awesome. And then I will add a highlight here. I will add a highlight here. And the shadow over here. Look at that. And I hold X to create that invisible line. So when I here go to highlight, I can color on top of this. Come on. And then the shadows. Shadows. Come on, 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 come on. Behave, dude, behave. Let me change this into 13. Come on. Okay, I am adding the invisible lines here on the liner to see if I transfer that will work better. Arm. Okay, this is shadow. Yeah, it worked better. Highlight. And the arm, where's the arm? Arms. Tuki. Cool, there you go. We have our painting of this part of the character. Now the charco, I will create a color here. And then I will paint this same way. I'll put this on the, oopsie, I'll put this on the line art, and then on the color art, I'm going to transfer those properties. So we already saw how to do that. Boom. And then the charcoal will go behind the arm. This is all wrong. There you go, something like that for now. Cool, now I'm going to get rid of the arms again of this dude, because I don't need it. Arms, get out of here, Tuki. Boom. And now I need a robot to go behind the arms. So I'm going to move the robot behind. Selecting the transformation tools, move it behind. The BG, I'm going to move it behind too. Tuki. The drawovers, I don't need it anymore. And there you go. That should work well. Yeah, some parts are still on top, so I'm going to move the arm towards the front. And then boom, the chihuahua is going to smash this thing. Cool. So something that I'm going to do is maybe I'll reuse an animation that I did before on the head of the chihuahua on a previous scene, the scene that the chihuahua is going to be peeing on top of this robot. I'm going to reuse that animation, I'm going to import it here, and then I'm going to create a custom frame showing the arm how it's going to be broken after the chihuahua smashes the shit out of that arm. Or nah, let's just animate that from scratch right now. Will be faster than just start looking. Where is that scene? I'm going to grab here. You're going to grab one of these legs. And then copy, and paste it here. And then move it around. Takata. Now I want to see the animatic, so I'll move the animatic towards the left, towards the right. Where's the leg of this dude? So the leg of this dude will smash here. And this will be out of here. So clack, here's where it's going to smash. Now, something that I want to do here is that I'm going to destroy the rig. I'm going to destroy the rig, taking these nails out of this part here. And I'm going to create a custom drawing for the nails, where I have a nail that is showing that is going outside. Because if I have like a custom frame that I need to put more attention, I will do a custom drawing for that. So that's the nail, for example. And if I go here inside of these character colors, color pick to go directly here towards this, and I can select the color of the nail, go here, move this into the line art, click here to transfer all the line properties. Boop, we have something like that. Now let's look at the animatic. So let me grab all of this, move it this way. Now let me, no, why did the framers move away? No. What the heck happened there? Parrot and peck, that's crazy. So I'm going to get rid of that deformer and create a new one here. To be honest, I can totally destroy this leg and already create something similar to what I have on the Animatic, just to speed up the process. Beautiful. And then I'm going here to the color art, copy this color, go here to the line art, then go in here, transfer the properties, and paint with the color here. Paint with the color there. All right, now I have to close those gaps. Cool. The heck is this? Oh, the overlay. So I'll move this around here. Awesome. Cool, we have the overlay layer there. And the thing here can go behind, and then we paint that with the nail color, which is something like this. I can leave it in the same layer. Now I need this to overlap that line. There you go, better. So that will be the last frame there of this Chihuahua stomping on this arm. So I can grab this, accommodate this, something like this. I only needed those two pieces there. Boom. And just to make everything look more dynamic, I'll move all of this. I'll move all of this towards this corner. So it looks like boom. More aggressive even here. Boom. And now the arm. I might make this arm a little bit smaller, though it's giving me a lot of troubles being so big, this arm here. Cool. So this will be out of here. And then boom. So here I can show the leg getting inside of the composition a little bit. And I can drag the leg that way so it feels it's going like crazy down without the formers. Look, boom, and then boom, immediately there. And then here I'm going to squash all of this. I'm going to squash all of this. Boom, and then we're going up. But we're not going up towards that frame. We're going up into a. We're going up to a overshoot first, which I'm moving all of this up a little bit. Even the nail will overshoot this way like bit, and then we're going tung tung. Boom, boom, boom. So down, up, and down we settle towards the last frame. And here I can add a 44, 33, 33. Boom, to smooth that action. Awesome, beautiful. Key, get rid of all of this. 2 key. Boom, boom, boom. And here I can even squash this more. See how it feels. It feels more aggressive, yeah. Boom. I like how it felt next to this one. Maybe I will add a new frame there. Nah, forget about it. Let's just put it here. Boom, boom, boom. Camera, camera, and then we're adding pegs here. Boom, 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 boom. So here, up, down, up, and then normal one. Boom, boom. Cool. Boom. Maybe, yeah, the timing of this scene, of this overall scene, have to be different. Wait, I do want to squash this leg a bit more. And then it's moving. It's moving side to side to show how badass this dude is. So here, I will grab all of this, move that way, and hide this knee, that hide that nail, and that will create illusion of moving the head, the leg back and forward. So it's like going that way and then that way. And then we can go a little bit back again here. Maybe it's going too much that way there. But I will add here slow ins and slow outs. Boom, 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 boom. Here I want to hold for 2 frames before moving the other way, like crack, crack. And then here, 44, 33, 44. Now I want to extend this other way. Like crack, crack. Cool, perfect. Like crack, crack. And then we cut all of this in twos. Tuki, 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 and then we have the animation. Boom, tuku, tunku, awesome. Boom, tuku, tuku. And now the arm here, when we boom, now I have to move the arm a little bit towards the front here. That fucking arm. There you go, something like that. So, boom. Cool. So here we're going to change the new drawing of the arm. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where's the arm? It's here, of course. No, it's here, of course. So here, boom. Here we're going to create a new complete drawing here. So new drawing. And now I'm going to use my brush, the marker number 2 brush, to have fun and draw on top of that, to let myself experiment here. So for example, I want the thumb to be like, oh. So you can have something like that. Boom. Something like this. Boom. And here, for example, the index can be on the ground like that. And here, this middle finger could be something like this. Clack. Now this can be smaller, can be super. Boom, something like that. Clack. Cool. So we have all of these dynamic shapes. I wonder how this will look. Something like this. Yeah, something more on the ground. So also something that I want to do is that this, making the composition, these fingers pointing towards the face of the reaction of the robot. So I'm thinking about also the composition of this character. So this is going that way. These lines could go that way too, something like that. Be more intentional with the design of this. This pointing that way. There you go. So everything is pointing towards the road. Pam. To the window. Boom, something like that. Doom. I'm losing volume here, but at the same time I want to. So it changed some shape because it's totally destroyed. And I can rig this arm into make two pieces, so one piece in here and two pieces in here, so I can animate those in two parts. So let's do that too. Cool, so I'm going to reduce the opacity of this, grab my black color, solid brush, go here, smoothing, increase the smoothing. And now, I remember I put a 65 here. Time to design. A straight line here. Straight line here. Look at this, see. Boom, beautiful, badass. Then here this part is broken. Something like that will work. Here straight. See. Maybe I can increase the geometry here just to make it feel broken. See how on the line that is going further away I'm making it thinner? Just to create some sense of depth here. Boom. Awesome. Let's clean this a little bit. Tuki, tuki, tuki. Tuki, 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 tuki. Tuki, oopsie. No, that one is not. What the heck is this? Get out of here. Tuki, 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 tuki. Okay, cool. Now layering stuff. I'm going here in the layer of this hand. Layer in here. I'm going to create broken thumb, broken palm, broken arm. And now, look, this is a very short rigging class. So create those new three layers to create a new more animation on those individual parts as the Chihuahua stamp on top of that. Here, broken arm. So I'm going here again to the cleanup arm. I'm going to copy and paste each one of these parts towards here, broken palm. This one over here towards broken thumb, and here this one on broken arm. And then what I'm going to do is select both my drawing layer and my peg, and move the pivot point. So it's moving both the drawing pivot point and the peg pivot point at the same time. Then I create a master peg for all of this. I bring my thumb towards the front because the layer in here is going to be in front of that leg. Of course, all of these have to be behind the shark. So I'm going to move this shark. El charco, Tuki, there you go. So boom. So here, all of this layering. So I'm selecting all of this. Look, when I'm here, I'm selecting move peg with drawing layer. So all of this, I want this to appear here at this frame. And I want to disappear the clean of the arm here. So I'm going to just get rid of these frames from here. Boom, boom. So here, boom. And here, look, this is the broken arm rig, right? I'm going to color this with a pinky color. This broken arm rig, I'm going to play around with this here. So boom, the squash is down here. When the squash is down here, I want to boom, stretch that thing there so it feels like boom, it's struggling. Also, I want this to move up like that too, like boom, boom, boom. Here I want to go up, and then we're going down. Also, wait, I need to save this frame. I need to save this frame over here. So that's the final pose that we're arriving. Here I want to move up. Boom. And then this is overshooting down. This is overshooting down while this is overshooting up. So we're creating some asymmetry in the movement here. So overshooting down, up, boom. And then we're going back towards the normal position. Boom, boom. And here we can add a slow in, a slow out, Tuki. Boom, boom. And with the sound effect, this will sound like a machina, like a robot. Boom, 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 boom. And now I can create more stuff here. For example, instead of just going up and down, I can create towards the right, left, left, down and up. Boom. Boom, there you go. All of this on once. Why not? Bam. There you go. Boom. Boom. Here I can also create an arc with this piece. So here. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. And now the arm behind, I can totally move this down like that first. That one, then this will follow after that. So the motion will be desynchronized compared to the other parts of the arm. Cool, now I have to make all of this make sense. So boom. Going up. And then going down. Down and then up. I'm losing volume, it's too much. This is smaller here. Not too much. It's not that important, so I can reduce that amount. Exploring the stuff. How long is this video? 2 hours. Boom, boom, boom. Nah, keep it simple. Pam, 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 pam. There you go. Goodbye, dude. I cannot do stupid animations. It's a perfectionism moment, but just have to let it go. It's not important. Bam. It's moving too much. So, you know what? Stay there. We're just going to do this. Taka taka. End of the story. Get out of here. Get out of here. Plus the camera movement. We're done here. Beautiful. Now this is boom, and then here I need all this stamp sooner. So let me click here on the animatic and move this all of this sooner. I also need to move the camera sooner. This goes a little bit over here. Cool, I need to expand the exposure here. Intrusive and arrogant, liar, liar. And here, I need to add more animation here in the leg. So here, Tuki, then we can go back. So I'm going to add that frame there. So we go boom, boom, boom. Beautiful. And then I will put a slow in there. 22, 33. Cutting all of these into. Got it. So the timing is better. It's like the robot is like, huh? Boom, 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 boom. Oopsie, oopsie. What the heck is it here? Boom, boom, boom. Now I want to change this. I needed to go more that way here. Cause you are everything I'm not. Will I? Cool. So there we go. Boom, 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 boom. And now when I move that leg, I can totally move this arm that I rigged here. So I'm going to design this frame here. Just little bit, and this one will be the same one as this one, and then I will just do something like that. And then I can just copy and paste here the same amount of slow in and slow out that I put it on the previous one, but because I don't remember, I will just randomly put some numbers here, hoping that will match this. And I hope that did it well, and then I'll just break all of these on twos from the right to left, because remember, if you do it from left to right, you will break the change look Yep, but no, I need those frames too. Cool. So this is how I animate in Toon Boom. This is how I approach creating all of this crazy stuff. Something that I don't like on the thumb, for example, here. I want to change the thumb right now. But before twinning all of this, I will make that fix again. And is that I don't want the thumb to go in the same direction the leg goes, but instead the opposite direction, so it doesn't look cut out. Because when things looks cut out is when it feels like if if no low battery, it starts feeling like you are moving things like a paper that is holding all the drawing on itself, so everything feels like it's moving towards the same direction. But the moment that I start adding some asymmetry in my animations is when I start everything stops feeling cut out and starts looking, oh, you know what, this is not just a drawing inside of a paper and everything is moving at the same time. Cool. There you go. That's animation. Took exactly 2 hours and 9 minutes to animate and create all of this stuff. Well, something that I would like to do here is add some camera movement towards the left. So the camera is expecting the arrival of this robot here. And of course, it's ending after the robot, so I'm going to put like a 22 there. Boom. There you go. That's animation. See? Hope you learned something out of this video, and if you have any questions, as always, let me know in the comments. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and share this with your friends, because I'll really appreciate it. Cool. See you next time. Bye.